This is LN 24/7 this morning live. Wherever you're watching us, we have been discussing the issue of flooding in Nigeria. NIMET warned that 19 states out of the 36 states of the Federation are likely to suffer heavy flooding, severe flooding, and that is already happening. But they said it is because the ground is stiff and tough to absorb the rains coming. We've been having a chat with an environmental scientist, Est.A, who also told us that Nigerians don't plan for rainy season, and a few other causes of flooding. We're still on this conversation. Let's welcome into the studio Dr. Wilson Arikpo. I hope I got it right. Dr. Wilson Arikpo is the Governor General / Chief Executive Officer, Safety and Emergency Response Ready, SafERR, Global Institute. And there is an FSGI attached to his name. Great to have you in the studio, Doc.
Thank you so very much for having me. I appreciate you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Welcome. You look like somebody that flew flying boat to come out of his apartment this morning.
Well, if flying boat to be one of the new normal for people who live in such environments, we must have to plan along with it. You know, when you're on board the ship, when ships are built, for instance, because ships are always on water, they are meant to be on water.
Absolutely.
You will see that there are flying boats, there are small carrier boats on every ship. And there are things we call life rafts that are also things you could explode under emergency. They look like some cylindrical objects. And you will know they could carry 25, 30 persons inside. Now, those things are kept there as a result of planning. You know, planning in management is foreseeing strategically the future, what others probably have not seen. You know, you don't say I'm planning by just sitting around and not being proactive. Reactiveness is not planning. Planning is about being proactive. And so if you get professionals and those who know what to do, they'll know what plan. If we plan well as a people, when I say as a people, you know, of course, ordinary citizens are limited. You know, government will always have the higher stake. They have the muscle, the manpower, the resources. And once they make the right policies and enforce it properly, or then the right advocacy, people will go along with it. Now the ships have got boats because they have this strategic plan that should something go wrong, should the ship suddenly lose control, go adrift, or get stagnated in a place, or at worst case scenario, there's an incident, an accident that leads to capsizing or a ship going under. There are boats for life rescue operations. So which means that anybody who's a marine engineer like myself or anybody who must live around water bodies must first know so many things. I shouldn't go ahead of you, but they must know how to swim. They must know how to swim, survive in water, by the way. They must know the dynamics of water.
You talk like this because you are a marine engineer. As an ordinary citizen, Gimalo is here. When they tell us to plan for the rainy season, I'll probably get out there, buy rain boots, buy raincoats.
For you to move into the flood, right?
For me to,
that's right,
to navigate the flood.
Yeah, navigate the flood. But what about the flood itself?
Yeah, so you've been in Lagos and you saw the massive flooding that happened in Lagos. Right. I dare say that it is unprecedented in Lagos. What we saw in Lagos in the last few weeks have been out of proportion. Why? What happened?
Why is the question now. You want to give environmental issues also. But you know, let me take you one point. Once I saw the rains, the volume, and the rise, just opposed that against the warnings by NIMET, as it were. You know, NIMET is government agency, right?
Yes.
So which means they know about these things. They know what could happen. They give you predictive, you know, data and analysis of what could come up in the next few days, few weeks, few months, even before the rains came. Now, what did we do with the planning? That's the point now. We've not yet to throw stones. But it's happened, it happened. Now imagine, even before God in the Bible allowed the rains to come, he pre-warned humanity. You know, Adam Noah, build me an ark, because the heavens will open its windows. The earth will bring forth the fountains. There will be so much of water you've not seen before. So you could float over water. I think you should be a marine engineer also. So we know that. So that tells you what planning does. I mean, that's God's nature.
Yes.
It's like, in fact, I saw in the Bible, Proverbs 21:31, it says, the horse is prepared against the day of battle. Safeties of the Lord. So, in as much as safeties of the Lord, he expects you to prepare your war horse against the day of battle. And so when you're talking about, in a case like this, it's not, 2012 was one of the worst cases we had of flood in Nigeria, throughout Nigeria. And we also attributed that to the fact that the Ladu Dam from Cameroon was let open. And so the waters added to all that.
The environmental scientist in Abuja also mentioned that.
Oh, yes.
He mentioned the Abuja Dam. He will join this conversation.
Oh, beautiful.
We just want to bring you into the conversation.
It cuts across board like that. And so in 2025, just last year, the Mokwa incident happened. So much of flood levels, over 500 people dying. Yes. Fatality is so high like that. And the government cannot say they are not listening. It's not rocket science. There are countries, I can tell you, where they have lower sea levels, below sea level issues like Lagos is, and they've done things. Like in the graving dock.
The ones you call sinking cities.
Sinking, exactly.
Which
so.
Lagos is among.
Which Lagos is
among. But what? So you can't just, Bar Beach one time was a very serious jeopardizing area. Until the government came on and did that retention stuff and pushed the bit back so you can have some safety along that line. In some countries in the world, they actually do deep underground tunnels.
Yes, Japan.
Yes, in Japan, exactly. They want to deep underground tunnels, so that all the waters will go right under and a huge centrifugal pump or something will dump it back to the sea. I haven't done it. If I take you to a dry dock, a typical dry dock, you know what it means. The dry dock at a dockyard is built to take in big ships. And the way they build it, they call it graving dock, right into the water, into the sea. Floor it off and put a mighty gate. So which means that if you're inside the graving dock, you're actually inside the sea. But the gate is holding back the water. So when a ship needs to come into the graving dock, the gate is lifted and water comes in gently and fills up that graving dock space. Then the ship will sail in, you close the door and pump out the water. It becomes dry land so they could walk under the ship. I want to give us a scenario to things you can do to always keep a dry surface. And not before we get to the environmental issues or what could cause flooding, other than the volume. We're going to go into talk of solutions, but you want to know the problems, what causes that. It's not good to have a singular narrative. I can tell you individuals cause it, people, in fact, it's annoying. If you are a professional, even if you're not a professional, you're driving behind some big vehicles that you presuppose should be owned by educated people or enlightened people. Somebody is drinking and throwing
PET
bottles through the window onto
we saw one video.
Road.
We saw a video now. The drainage was filled with plastic bottles to the brim. And these things are part of what we are looking at as causes. But let's bring back the environmental scientists. Before Gimalo takes over the floor. Ademi Aika, you're still with us out there in Abuja. The marine expert has corroborated all that you told us earlier about planning, and has also said NIMET as a government agency warns
That's right.
ahead.
That's right.
Now, what do we do with that warning? Ike, let's talk about urban development. Is urban development, should it be a contributing factor to problems of flooding? I want to stay in Lagos, for instance. I want to use Lagos incident, for instance. If urban development happens, it should happen. Part of the planning is how do you
deal with
care
expanding.
of
Right.
the expansion and the population, including
the
buildings.
The issue in Lagos is partly the Nigerian factor. Like the marine engineer said, What he was talking about is what we call spongy. The poor urban development is one of the root causes of the flooding in Lagos. Poor urban development. And I will give you instances. Lagos is about, if we look at it, we have about 90% wetland in Lagos. And that wetland is a kind of buffer between the sea and the mainland. And it absorbs, because it's made up of marshes, it absorbs water, retains water. It prevents flooding. Now, if you go and build on wet land and call it development without mitigating the adverse effects, you have flooding. Remember, geographically, naturally, Lagos is a flat land.
Hello, Ademi. Okay, momentarily we lost connection there. Angel.
Yes.
You have here the marine engineer.
Yes.
And he has
and a safety expert.
And safety expert.
And I
was going to ask him. I said I would ask him what the SFGI attached to your name.
Okay. What is SGI. Yes.
SFGI. What does it mean?
There are so many other suffixes you may want to also know. But that one is fellow.
Okay.
SafERR Global Institute.
I see.
As a fellow of the Safety and Emergency Response Ready Global Institute, you know, where I'm a fellow there. I'm also a fellow of the Institute of Safety Professionals of Nigeria, as it were, among so many other fellowship awards by the grace of God.
So what about the other one, FSGI?
That's what I'm saying.
Fellow.
SafERR Global Institute.
Right, that's about safety.
Yes, it's about safety, and that's where
you are coming.
Yes, that's where I'm coming in.
The World Safety Organization, of course, in Nigeria.
Yes,
also
World Safety Organization.
That's right.
So let's talk to people, because I think you just need to keep saying it for people to hear, understand, and do. Is to act. You talked about somebody in a big car just throwing away PET bottles. So let's talk about, because the floods are here already.
That's right.
They're here already. So what common mistakes do people do when there's flooding, and what shouldn't they do? We're talking about safety now.
When flooding has occurred.
When it has occurred already, because it's here.
Not to prevent flooding.
It's here already, so we're talking about now.
You can't learn to swim when it comes, right?
Exactly.
That's right.
I like that.
I want to say that quite quickly, because that's why preparation is key.
You can't learn to swim when you're already drowning.
When you're already drowning, you know, you just need to be praying and be wishing. So before we even get to that, I'd like to say people should be proactive. You know, one of the things, a popular musician there was that fellow who said, water not get enemy. And truthfully, water has no enemy. It's useful. I'm sure you took your bath this morning. I sure did. I took my bath this morning.
Indeed.
And I drank water this morning too. So that's the same water. But water in a volume. You know, one of the first things that, like this month, as a matter of coincidentally, I think 25th of July is World Drowning Prevention Day. You know, and I keep telling people, if you don't go to water, water may come to you. And that's where we are right now. You know, you tell some people will tell you, even how to say, I don't know how to swim, I can't even float. So asking that question, let's take away that physical aspect of it. But the knowledge is also key. Once you have the right knowledge, your panic levels will be low of anything in life. Knowledge is very, very key. That's why in the SafERR Global Institute, we're talking about advocacy every time. We have what we call the Safety and Emergency Response Ready Global Ambassadors Network. There are SafERR ambassadors everywhere. You know, we want to say where 2 or 3 are gathered, there should be at least one SafERR ambassador, somebody who knows what to do. Because if you don't know the right thing to do, no matter how much interested you are, no matter how confused you are, no matter how knowledgeable you are in other things, you may just apply the wrong thing to do. So what do we say you should do? At any point in time, what is this? For people, whether you can swim or not, learn to put your documents in cellophane containers, cellophane bags, for instance.
Okay.
Because people have talked of lost documents, washed up by the floods. Even if they find them.
We saw another video
okay.
through the window. You wake up in the morning, your bedroom
That's right.
is flooded to bed level.
In fact, more than bed level. I've
level.
had instances of, I've gone to visit places where people were sleeping and the beds began to float.
Look at that.
You know, okay, imagine that. True.
Look at that.
True. And then don't put things at ground levels. Valuables, electronics, documents, books. Learn to keep things. You know, when we build houses in Nigeria, it's under policy thing, maybe under, we say culture thing. You enter most houses, my dear, you see the entrance to the main house into the living room is one door. The next door you see is one from the kitchen, exit door.
Yes.
Even if it's a big, mighty duplex or a simple flat. So there are no escape routes anywhere. You're not building houses that will have cellars. You don't have bunkers. You don't have special rooms created, anti-flooding, because we are just blessed in this country. In countries where you have earthquakes and such natural disasters, they make adequate preparations for those things. So that even when it comes, my friend called me once, you know, say, I'm hungry with you, you didn't call me. I said, what? Staying in Lekki there, water came in. He had to run to the top, the duplex. The whole ground was flooded. Vehicles in the compound were submerged. She could not even leave the house at all. That's in the Lekki area. You know, and then you need boats to come out. It's like a joke, but we need boats to come out. Now, that's kind of what we're talking about now. You need to be prepared ahead of time. But when it has come, if you're not hydrophilic, you'll be hydrophobia. You know, you'll be hydrophobic rather. And being hydrophobic means you are afraid of water on its own. So people are afraid of water in a bathtub, to even take a bath in a bathtub. I can tell you that. But when you are hydrophilic, you have affinity with water. Even if you see it come as a flood, you know what to do. You know how to step onto it. You know how to even try to rescue others.
Exactly.
You know, we've had cases of people, like the case we had of a young man a few years ago who went into the river rescuing people because he could swim. He ended up dying of exhaustion himself.
Oh, dear.
You know, you rescued them over for something people. So knowing what safety issues they are will enable you really, you know, take the right action when it occurs.
Indeed. Just advancing this conversation, and as we begin to wind down on it, let's look at solutions and where do we pin those solutions. Let's bring you back in here as an environmental scientist. Let's talk about flood-resilient communities. I mean, these things happen. The rains must come, you know, but how resilient is your community? We cannot totally exonerate government here. We cannot totally exonerate government here. Am I correct to say that?
Yes.
Yeah, so what? Yes, go ahead.
You cannot totally exonerate because first of all, the primary function of government is protection of life and property. And this flooding is part of it. Now, in certain communities, let us Lagos, for instance. If you look at from the colonial time data of Lagos, you will find out that places like Ikoyi was repaired. Now, as a result of this sampling, there were precautionary measures taken. How do we follow up? Government is a so that the good thoughts that were laid are being followed, and we don't otherwise bring in or cause situations that bring back the effect of certain actions that were taken before. Now, most governments look at to generate revenue. Generation of revenue is very important. That is why they grant all kinds of housing estates and otherwise, because incomes are flowing without looking at the adverse effects into the environment. Now, for a community or a people to be resilient, or let me tell you, people have to be healthy. We are talking about the issue of Lagos flooding now. After this flooding now, everyone goes back. Actions are not taken. That this flooding about situation where sewage is coming, moving around with the water and otherwise. So are fungus. In a same environment, that is issue. In fact, water analysis are being done to know whether there is any cholera or whatever, so that you don't have an epidemic or any after this situation. Soil samples are taken. We are never proactive. Never. And let me tell you, it's only in this country that I see, let me tell you, if you are talking about this environmental thing, about microbiologists coming in, zoology, botanists coming in, engineers, water engineers, electrical, all of them coming together to give us same environment. But sometimes they cannot come together. Some people are even saying that these things are not necessary. It takes a government that is highly that wants things to be done to bring these scientists, professors. There are a plethora of projects in certain universities that if we can have some of these problems are solved. But we don't look that way because we don't put money on research.
Indeed, Ike. As an environmental scientist, you sure understand these things. And we also have a marine engineer right now. Let's invite our viewers. Let's also hear and get some eyewitness accounts of the flooding. Wherever you're watching us, if flooding happens in your area, call us, talk to us, tell us why, and tell us what has been done or what should be done. Like we are now, seeking solutions. We are seeking solutions right now because it's not palatable. What we are seeing on the screen is not palatable. I saw a video of a market. Market women, water is at their waist level.
Sitting there and doing their business.
What
That's
choice
the
do they
thing.
have?
Sitting there and doing their businesses.
Now, I wonder if government sees these things, how do government respond? That's what the environmental scientist is talking about. Mitigating against this situation. Because next year...
What about the communities themselves?
Yeah, so how do we marry all
not
of
saving
this?
you, what are you doing yourself to mitigate this? If the government is not answering you, we're talking about parents, you're talking about children. You've not even finished saving yourself. You're looking at how to carry babies. How do we do this? How do communities get prepared for this?
I saw another video online. Some of these locals were busy dragging people out of the one you called gutter, the drainage. A lot of people are falling into.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So that's my talk to us. We are now seeking solutions.
Do we really need solutions from this place?
Must we continue like this? You've given us a lot of Bible versions. And the Bible also says, shall we continue?
And the Bible says,
that grace may abound.
Grace may abound.
And the Bible says,
should we continue like
if the
this?
foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous do? What's the foundation of any existence, for instance? My brother Ike was talking there. He said, government's responsibility is to protect lives and property. You know, and if floods will damage property, it's basically the responsibility of government. One, of course, citizens have got a big role to play, responsibilities also. There are obligations to what is available. Now, when we come on air and speak, some people will think, oh, you are either attacking somebody or government. It's not about attacking anyone. It's about speaking realities the way they are. Now, I saw the video, the shots on the cartoon, the other one on the Ojota axis, as it were, even on newly constructed roads, as it were. Now, it will amaze you that
that has not even gone into active use.
Active use yet, exactly. You know, you want to ask, the EIA done before these projects were carried out, by the way, that's environmental impact assessment done. You know, who are you holding responsible if the EIA fails, if it doesn't give you the right thing? We have seen road constructions being carried out, and even as laymen who are not construction experts, you know that this road has no plan for drainage. When drainage is there, it is not, you know, symmetry to the levels you are seeing. For instance, at a place I saw that flood, if you go there, discover that the area on the left-hand side, the gradient goes that way up. It's more. On this other side, it goes up. So there's like a little valley there. When you construct a road in a place like that, where does water go to? Because even when there's a drainage, it doesn't go like in a direction towards a canal or towards where to empty out. So it's just there like cosmetic. That's not about the citizenry. It is not the citizens who are going to construct that for you. The supervisor of that project, the engineers on that project, who is holding them accountable. So when you see a road, I mean, you can't do anything about it. You and I can't do anything about it. You come, the road has been done, it's looking clean, but the gutters are going to nowhere. What you call gutter, the drainages are going to nowhere. And they're not deep enough. You get to some places there and they look steep, other places and they look shallow. And I ask myself, where is the flow? Before the first rains even came, we knew that some channels were going to nowhere. So definitely that's a recipe for flooding in that environment. One. Now the citizenry also will not be able to carry out that. What our responsibility will be to advocate, educate our people around us. One of the reasons for flooding is also the dumping of refuse and the dumping around of waste materials indiscriminately. Now and again, you want to ask, whose responsibility is it to provide keeps? You know, what you call the waste bins.
Waste bins.
The culture, do we have that culture right now? I remember during the military era, we had war against indiscipline. It was so strong that if you dropped a piece of paper, you don't need the police or any agency. A fellow Nigerian beside you will tap you to pick it up. I still do it till now.
Yes.
Pick it up and please dispose it properly. You eat some things in your car, you must put, in fact, vehicles must have waste bins in them. They inspect that. If you don't have it, you're already guilty of breaching environmental laws, as it were. So you need to be able to dispose of these things properly. Now, what do you find around us? Unfortunately so. You have smelling environments because wastes are dumped in places and they are not being picked up. I don't know whether those places are designated places or not. The floods have come to meet us there. And the waste materials dumped along the roads, major roads, it's already environmental hazard on its own. And the waters come, wash away what has been kept as waste to be picked up by the agency that ought to pick it up on time and every time. Now, the policy was there that every household was given a bag, a waste bag, and we paid for them.
Yes.
And then you're supposed to put your waste in there, keep it outside at the collection point. Before the next morning, before the day runs out, it's taken away. But when you dump it there, they don't come to pick it. Even when you are passing by and you see it's dumped there, whatever trash you have, you also drop it there.
Have you been to Igondo? You know? Have you been to Igondo?
Oh my God.
So everything is settling into the market where people buy food.
That expressway is filled up with. Recently I see them making efforts trying to to remove them, and as they are removing some parts, they are taking video to show that we are working. I mean, it's not about it's not cosmetic show. If it's clean, we see it. And then I did ask some people, and they said, oh, they are no longer dump sites around Lagos. I don't know how true it is. I've not asked the government. They go to Badagry, it takes them a long time. Or they take the waste, all the trucks, and they are lined up there trying to dispose of what they have picked, so they can't come back to pick some more. That's not about the citizenry now. You can't, you and I cannot
it's
enforce
evident.
that.
We see that in Ojota dump site. Vehicles lined
up to dispose.
And
they cannot dispose.
Directly.
So if they don't dispose, the turnaround time becomes affected because they can't return to go and pick more waste.
Doc, we also involved the public, social media, on a social media poll. You know,
beautiful.
We sampled people's opinion through the polls. We asked questions and we asked people to respond. And the simple question we asked here is, what do you think is the biggest cause of flooding in Nigeria? Now, look at the responses. Look at the responses. Blocked drainage systems, 11.1%. Poor urban planning, 33.3%.
That's quite high.
And I thought that's on the high side. Heavy, just like the environmental scientists in Abuja said, heavy rainfall and climate, another 11.1%. But look at this, poor waste disposal habit. 44.4%.
I ask you.
But I dare say that I can also add all of the above.
All of the above. But I ask you, the last one, poor waste disposal habit. Why are you pinning it on?
Tell me.
No, you tell me.
I ask the question.
Tell me.
Okay, so it's both ways.
Tell me.
Okay, beautiful.
It's both ways right now.
Okay.
It's both ways
because we are discussing waste disposal. Just before I brought it.
That's right.
The habits.
So the habit of
the bad habits.
That's right. Bad habits.
So let's bring in the environmental scientists one more time. Adebi Aik in Abuja, are you with us? Did you see this poll? Maybe we'll put it back for you to see the responses and the question. Yes. Okay. Please analyze them for us.
Now, let me tell you. And I'm going to shock you with something now. Do you know Nigeria will recycle diseases? We recycle diseases in Nigeria. And I will tell you, there is no waste in Nigeria. You will see maybe good effect as a result of TB. And the person use and everything will now eat inside the waste bin. And most of these people who will go Babambola or otherwise that pick, they will come and pick bottles and everything. And that is how we get disease infection. Now, if we want to get it right, it's what we call proper segregation of medical waste and other waste that come from the house that are not us. And even most of our hospitals in Nigeria doesn't have incinerator. Hospital waste is dumped with the same as domestic waste.
Chemical waste.
And people to dump pipe. People are carrying it to dump. Now, like the marine engineer said, every society, the family is the society. Waste management and poor habit as a result of waste disposal, we should start the system from the house. And government goes and otherwise to educate people. But first of all, there must be a proper infrastructure whereby government place waste bins at places. And the environmental department must be so efficient and effective that this waste are posed. The second point is that relationship between the poor urban management waste disposal. If you don't have, let me tell you, it's not rocket science. Every district is a major incinerator. whereby West is and it's narrated. You need to drive a long distance. Like if you have industrial narrators, maybe 10 districts in Lagos, all the issues will be settled. But you are playing with a major epidemic if we don't take active measures.
Thank you so much. Adebi Ikechukwu, we simply shortened your name to Ike. Environmental scientist in Abuja. I mean, you have experienced Lagos, so you know what we are talking about, and you sure do know what you're talking about. This conversation will not end in one sitting. I mean, flooding has become, like you said, to prevent epidemic. I mean, it's getting to an epidemic level, if not endemic level. You know, I must thank you for making our time to join us on this conversation. We will sure continue to look at all the sides and all the angles concerning this disaster that is happening in Nigeria year in, year out. Every July, August, September, October, Nigerians get into this. Thank you so much, Debbie Ike, environmental scientist joining us from Abuja. Do have a great day ahead. All right, Doc, we also must say thank you for coming in, but we would give you a chance for your last shot for today.
Oh, okay, for today.
For today, for now.
Thank you. Because we'll call you again.
Oh, definitely.
There are still issues to be addressed. So many issues, really. I thank God for that. But Lagos has incinerators. I don't know. Okay. Let me say that because that we had incinerators, or we have incinerators. Whether they are working on is a different case altogether. Now, if they come alive, I'm sure it's a place where you eat up waste or something, eat like, so to speak, And the Waste to Wealth initiative is supposed to help convert all these wastes to money for people. So when people going about picking those things, because of the campaign and the consciousness to want to drive a narrative, that instead of disposing of your waste anyhow, put them together, you may even make money from it. Now that's it, an advocacy that must go forward. I know, is it in France or somewhere that you have machines that pay citizens money? If you take your pet bottle or any waste and go to the machine, it's self-service. You just put it in there. It will take it in and dispense the appropriate value to you in cash. That's an initiative that I'm sure, I don't know whether individuals did that or the government did that, but these are the kind of things that will definitely help checkmate these incidences. It goes beyond flooding like we discussed now. The epidemic is there. See, I keep using the ship as a typical best practice setting, because on board the ship, as you sail the oceans, it's a complete city on its own. Everything you want is there. Everything you want is there. Incinerators, that waste segregation is there. You can't put metallic waste along with chemical waste, along with organic waste. You can't put, everything is segregated. Your batteries must be put in a different container. And that advocacy, in the SafERR Global Institute, we teach that in waste management. Those who come through the trainings get it well. But you see, implementing it across board for every citizen to know how to dispose your waste, even at home, I bet, I won't ask you the question, it's rhetoric. Where do you drop your batteries when they go flat? When they are used, do you put them in the same waste container as that? Because when it hits the ground out there, it pollutes groundwater also. Cellophane has been the campaign, styrofoam, but those things that will not easily disintegrate into the soil are also problems for us. Now, it goes beyond just what is causing the flooding now. Anything could cause it beyond what we have listed here. Indeed. But basically, we need the National Orientation Agency, I want to call them out here also, to start up the campaign. We can partner with them to do that. A campaign that will make every citizen conscious of what it takes to prevent flooding to the extreme, like it's happening now, what everyone ought to do, it doesn't have to be enforcement every time. Advocacy is a good part of it. It's also expensive. At the World Safety Organization, we're doing plenty of advocacy. In Benin, we've been going around schools. We have a project with safer schools, as it were, and safer environments. We're going to institutions, because when you catch them young, these children know it. What will a child say to you if he or she's in the car and see you dropping things out through the window? Daddy, please put in your seat. But I don't do that, and it will be like a best way to. So let's catch them from the grassroots, from ground level. I think we can partner to make this advocacy good also.
Indeed,
The world safety. The conference we have is coming up in September. You'll be there.
Yes.
No, you'll be there to give us a coverage to put this thing to the World Safety Organization Conference, September 10th to 11th, apparently. And these things are discussed. We have high flyers in society coming together everywhere, discussing. This is one of the major things we discuss, actually, and renewable energy.
So, Dr. Soji, somebody responded, Dr. Soji Olalokun. He gave solutions. I believe we'll scroll it. He talked about clearing the water paths. Lagos sits on wetlands and lagoons. Primary damage are choked with silt. So annual dredging and
silt,
all.
that's
so
right.
we're going to scroll his response to this. That he gave a solution to it.
That is the country director of the World Safety Organization.
Okay, Dr. Soji Olalokun. Yes.
Thank you so much, Dr. Wilson Arikpo, Governor General and CEO, Safety Emergency Response Global Initiative. God bless you for.
Thank you so very much for having me. You're doing a great job, by the way.
Thank you so much.
God bless you guys. Well, thank you.
All right. So much lessons have come out of this conversation, and our topic asked that question: are we paying attention? That will further this conversation in the days to come, because rains must happen. Rains must come every year, every season. All right. That will be the size of the conversation on flooding in Nigeria. I say part one for now, because we're still looking at all other sides and angles. And we shall be going for another break. When we return, we have yet another interesting conversation to delve into. And that has to do with the Federal Road Safety Corps bill to the National Assembly seeking, to criminalize commercial buses preaching of the gospel and selling of drugs and items in the buses. FRSC have sent in a bill to criminalize those activities. Stay with us. Dr. Chris Iyama will be joining us. He is a civil rights activist. He will be joining us to throw more light and help us make sense of all of this when we return. This is the morning show here, this morning live on LN 24/7. We'll be right back.
And my name is, not put your name.
Stop flooding together. An LN